If the 890 Jump can be considered Origin's idea of a super yacht, then the 600i is probably best thought of as a private jet, but is it any good? I'm Sean from We Small Band, now grab your towel and join me as we take a peek into the life of luxury on the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Verse.
Quantum travel initiated.
To start, a disclaimer. We will never suggest making additional pledges to Star Citizen beyond the base starter packages, being the Aurora or Mustang, as that is all that's needed to play any part of the game. With that said, the value of the project is down to each individual. If you wish to pledge additional funds to the project, that's your prerogative, but we won't advise you either way. With that out of the way, the Origin 600i. Released in lore quite recently in 2947, it aims to fill two roles with its two variants. The Explorer features a vehicle/cargo bay that can comfortably house any small vehicle, such as a rock or a cyclone, as well as, in the long term, improved scanning capabilities. The Touring variant is more luxury focused, sacrificing the additional cargo and vehicular capacity for guest quarters and some shrubbery. Ones that look nice. Not too expensive. At over 1600 tons, the 600 isn't exactly what you would call dainty, and this naturally shows in the ship's handling. With a pitch and yaw rate of 30 degrees per second and a roll of 50 degrees per second, it's akin to manoeuvring a large pebble through treacle. Combined with a lackluster SCM speed of only 109 meters per second and poor acceleration, it's actually one of the slowest ships in the game. Its maximum speed of 955 is respectable for its size, however keep in mind that even under boost it would take over a minute to grind to a halt on the retro thrusters. It's 33 seconds if you spin it around and use the main engines. Take it planet side and the story remains much the same. The egg-shaped 600 is fairly aerodynamic and maintaining a decent speed in atmo, well, what speed it can manage, is fairly easy. Changing direction is laborious, but the ship feels oddly responsive and never feels like it's fighting you. In terms of flight time, the 600 will see you about an hour's constant thrust without the use of fuel scoops, although this does drop to around 30 minutes if any of the MAVs are firing. An oddity, however, is that despite this being a large vessel, it makes use of size 2 quantum drives and tanks. This gives access to the very quick Waytech XL1 quantum drive, but this leaves you with only enough fuel to make one round trip from PO to MBiz before you run dry. Let's move through the ship. Starting from the cockpit, the canopy offers an excellent view in all directions except for down, thanks to the strutless window which envelops the bridge. Moving back, we've reached an elevator, which acts as both the primary egress point, as well as a way of moving to the lower deck. Opposite, we find 3 escape pods. Continuing past here, we come to the central module. On the Explorer variant, this consists of a large work area, complete with 2 scanning stations and a large holographic radar. Oddly, neither seat actually looks at the radar, and it feels unnecessarily open. On the Touring variant, this upper area is replaced with 4 double bedrooms, turning the 600i into a long-range taxi. It also features a staircase to the lower deck, something the Explorer variant distinctly lacks. Moving further back, we come to another elevator, with this one only moving between the decks, and a component room, before finally reaching the bar area. This is well stocked and grants a fantastic view from the skylight, but as with the radar suite, it feels too open. Moving down the stairs, we come to the kitchen and recreation area, complete with a pool table, TV and a good-sized refrigerator for those long journeys. It's through this kitchen area that we will also find the fixed storage area sporting a total of 16 SCU, as well as more component housing on either side of the ship. There is no way to move to the rest of the lower decks from here, so instead let's head back up to the rear elevator. Starting at the back of the ship, we have the crew quarters, and honestly one of the biggest wastes of space on this ship. There are 4 beds available, which is plenty, but they lack privacy. A dividing wall would go a long way to fixing both of these issues. Moving through, we also find 2 bathrooms available for the crew, as well as more escape pods. Moving forward, we again return to the central module. On the Explorer variant, it's here that we will find the additional 24 SCU of cargo storage around the room, as well as the vehicle elevator. On the Touring variant, this area is replaced with seating, a floor window, and some general decor. Finally, at the very front of the ship we find what is, at least in my view, one of the best captain's quarters of any ship. The view from the bed is amazing, with a desk, a sofa, and a personal bathroom all available to the owner of the ship. And side note, is it just me that gets Normandy vibes here? Ship tour over, is it functional? First, let's focus on the Explorer variant. With 40 SCU of cargo space and enough room to house a small vehicle, the 600i is roughly equivalent to a Cutlass Black in terms of haulage, with the added benefit of actually having a bathroom. It falls behind the more comparable Connie series, however, which boasts more than double the cargo capacity, can more easily carry a larger vehicle, and sports a snubcraft for long-range scouting. So what about the touring variant? With its 4 bedrooms, it certainly makes for a viable luxury transport, but with only 16 SCU of cargo space, all of which is in the kitchen, you'd best hope that your clients don't wish to bring along any souvenirs, as it won't do much else. Again, the comparable Connie Phoenix lacks this downfall, able to haul 96 SCU or a small vehicle alongside its 3 bedrooms, although it's much more short-haul first class and the 600i is sort of long-haul business class. Unlike RSI, however, Origin forgot the hot tub. Hey, Editing Sean here. Just wanted to jump in and let you know that the combat footage you're seeing right now was captured when Vyseroy and Derek were kind enough to let me join them in the verse during one of their Twitch streams. Now, they're both quite new to the streaming scene, but they're excellent channels and longtime friends of mine, so make sure to check them out in the links down below.
We now return you to your regularly scheduled program.
But how well will the 600 do when the brown stuff hits the fan? With 3 size 5 mounts for the pilot, the 600 series brings excellent pilot DPS, albeit 25% less than the Constellation, if you can stay at a distance to negate the low agility. It adds to this with the 2 remote turrets, each sporting twin size 3s. The bottom turret has excellent placement, although its inability to aim lower than 50 degrees does leave a large blind spot. The top turret, however, has a serious limitation in its forward firing arc due to its placement behind the kitchen. This prevents the gunner from attacking anything on approach, relegating this turret to a purely defensive position. If CIG were to move this to the blank space on top of the midsection, this will make the 600i a serious danger to enemy vessels. In terms of ordnance, the 600 series packs plenty of fireworks, with 4 bespoke size 5 missile mounts sporting a total of 16 size 3 missiles, making for an explosive hello, although it does fall behind the Connie series. On the defensive side, the single size 3 shield is more than enough to hold out against everything but a fully crewed hammerhead or a capital bomber. Sticking with the theme, it's roughly double the shield HP of the Connies, and 4 times the regen rate. If the shields do drop, however, or if the enemy just uses ballistics, then the 600i's hull won't hold out for long. With a hull HP roughly equivalent to that of a Connie, and with less armour to boot, it's not going to fare well in an old-fashioned gunfight. So is there a place for the 600 series? At over 9 million UEC, it's far from being a cheap purchase, especially when put up against the Constellation series. For everything the 600 can do, a Connie will do the same. Some things worse, many things better, but all of them will do everything that the 600 does. Sure, they lack the luxury that Origin brings to the table, but is it worth losing that much function just for the sake of form? If someone gave me a 600, I wouldn't be ungrateful, I would certainly put it to good use, but I wouldn't buy one. If I had circa 10 million credits to spare, I'd buy a Connie, fully upgrade it, and use the remainder to make some profit cargo hauling. If I already had everything I wanted, then sure, I'd buy a 600i, but only for the captain's quarters. And that's all on that. Let us know your thoughts on the 600 series down below, and with that, we thank you for watching, and we'll catch y'all next time.